Welcome to Energy Matters, sponsored by New Jersey Policy Institute. I'm your host, Jeanette Hoffman. Today, we're diving into two powerful forces shaping New Jersey's future: how we grow and process the food that feeds our communities, and how we power the technologies that will define the next economy. It's one of the hottest topics in politics and public policy. We're talking about energy and economic questions surrounding artificial intelligence. MJ Durkin, Chief Operating Officer of TechUnited New Jersey, joins me to discuss how AI can create far more opportunity than it displaces, what New Jersey risks if it falls behind, and how the state can support AI innovation without overburdening ratepayers. But first, as part of our Made in America series, I'm joined by Joseph Lababrera, Program Director of Agriculture and Economic Development at Warren County Community College. We'll explore the Jersey Protein Initiative, an ambitious effort to raise livestock here in New Jersey, process it here, train the workforce here, and sell it right here in the Garden State. Joe, thank you so much for being here today. Warren Community College has a really fantastic program that I wanted to talk to you about. It's called the Jersey Protein Initiative. So tell me about it. What is the Jersey Protein Initiative, and what gap in New Jersey's food supply chain are you trying to fill?
I'll start with the gap. The gap is we do not have, for our awesome farmers and our incredible, well-done farmland and our ability to produce some of the best food in the world, our farmers don't have access to markets, and they don't have access to distribution, and they don't have access to processing. The access they do have is very limited and is very constrained. So if we could fix this problem, we could create a food supply chain in New Jersey that is not only sustainable, but better for everybody in New Jersey's health.
Yeah, and New Jersey has millions of consumers within a pretty small geographic area. Why aren't more of the proteins raised on New Jersey farms being processed and sold here today?
Simple. Access to processors. New Jersey processing that is currently existing is difficult to scale to a level that can inspire the economy. It's simple economics 101. If I can produce something and I can get it to market, I can then have a supply chain. But getting it to market is very difficult for New Jersey farmers.
Yeah, so as a result, we're buying our food from other places.
Yes, New Jersey, the food you eat is overwhelmingly not New Jersey food. And no matter how we market it, no matter how we stamp it, no matter how we talk about it, if we don't have the infrastructure, it's not going to happen.
And speaking of infrastructure, Warren County Community College hopes to develop as many as 150 profitable ranches and farms. How would the college train new farmers, connect them with landowners, and create career opportunities for young people in Northwest New Jersey?
Thanks to Congressman Kane's office, and thanks to the efforts of Doug Steinhardt and my president of the college, Will Austin, and thanks to the New Jersey legislature, which is currently working on it, we're going to get a system, we're going to get a sequence of funding that is going to allow us to build a workforce development program. We're going to train this entire supply chain. We're going to train everything from producer to distributor to precision agriculture technology specialist. We're going to train animal husbandry. We're going to create the perfect rancher/processor for the meat industry.
Wow, that's fantastic. And you've described the vision for this as raise it here, process it here, train the workforce here, add value here, and sell it here. So what would the farm to market supply chain actually look like once it is fully built out?
You're going to see current crop farmers that are not making money are currently advocating to transition to becoming ranchers. And then once they become ranchers, simultaneously, they're going to have our processing center to which they're going to be able to have complete and unfettered access, timely access to processing their animals. From there, you're going to have markets that are going to be achieved by the Warren Community College, my Center for Economic Development. We're going to be connecting them to markets, and then we're going to facilitate this whole supply chain. So you're going to see beautiful ranches, lots of cows. You're not going to see feedlots. You're not going to see industrial level ranching. That is not going to happen. We're against that. It's going to be holistic. It's going to be good for the land, and it is going to be supporting an economy of local people.
Yeah, and we do have the land for it. I mean, New Jersey is the Garden State. What areas would be ideal for this type of initiative?
Right, for livestock, Northwest New Jersey, Sussex County, Western Hunterdon, and Warren County. It's ideal livestock country.
Yeah. And a major piece of this initiative is a new state-of-the-art processing facility, because as you said, that's where the gap is.
Yes.
Why is USDA-inspected processing capacity so critical to making local livestock farming more economically viable?
Because you can't sell meat to the public unless it's USDA approved, because the USDA provides the safeguards that we as the public need to make sure that we're getting high quality. So the facility we're building is going to be a USDA facility, and we're going to model it after Penn State's processing plant, and our professionals that are going to be working in this facility are going to be actual degree carrying certified people in meat sciences.
So we would need cooperation with the federal government.
Yes, and we have that.
Yeah, and as you said, Congressman Kane's office is on board with this as well?
Oh yeah, they're big supporters of this. They got us our first appropriation of $4 million, of $1 million a year, which is focused on workforce development. We have another bill in the legislature, which is going to be $3 million, which is coming for workforce development, and Doug Steinhardt's taking the lead on that. And we're having a lot of help right now from the Senate Republicans, and this is going to be bipartisan. We have support from all over, and then we're also discussing the structure in which we're going to fund and build the meat processing plant.
That's fantastic. And we, on this show, Energy Matters, we talk about made in America and why it's so important to have things made here, especially our food supply. And, we've seen, unfortunately, some foodborne illnesses from things that are coming from out of the country. So certainly, Jersey protein, you want Jersey protein to become known for producing some of the healthiest and most humanely raised protein in the world. So can you talk more about how Jersey raised can eventually become a competitive advantage with consumers, restaurants, and institutional buyers?
Yes. Number one is people want quality. First of all, we have an area of 13 million people. They need to eat. And I don't care what anybody says, people want to eat beef, people want to eat lamb, people want to eat pork. Okay, so we are a culture that does eat meat.
Yes,
and thank God, because I love a good steak, right? So we are going to have the ultimate quality control is by keeping it local. Because by keeping it local, everybody can see it. And then by managing the quality of the people who actually produce it, by training and educating the next workforce. So here's a little secret. The mean age of a farmer in our area, in our region, is over 70.
Wow.
I know.
I did not know that.
Right. And they don't have a legacy.
Right.
So we're going to train the new workforce. We have excited and motivated 25, 30-year-olds, 20-year-olds.
That's great.
And they want to be ranchers. They can't afford the land.
Right.
The guys who have the land don't have anybody to take it from them. So they can, by all means, leave the land in their legacy, but we want to train a workforce that can manage and run profitable operations on that land.
That's fantastic. And beyond agriculture, what could the Jersey Protein Corridor mean for Northwest New Jersey in terms of job creation, protecting working farms, strengthening rural communities, and making the region's food supply more resilient?
It means businesses, incomes, and jobs. It means non-traditional paths. Well, it used to be old traditional paths, but not anymore. But it means young people now who don't want to go to college can now own their own businesses and make very profitable businesses that normally would take a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, and a 2-hour commute to the city to do. And then we're going to have secondary businesses that are going to be like, you have a secondary market and a tertiary market. Everything from people who have livestock holders, people who want to distribute the meat, restaurants that want to have specialized local menus. And we're going to have a supply chain that can actually put local food on the tables of restaurants.
So tell me more about Warren County Community College, how you're staffing up for this future job recruitment.
So we're fortunate. We have a brilliant president. So he has an entire Center for Continuing Education and Business in Phillipsburg. And we have a drone program, a robotics program.
Wow.
Warren Community College is one of the leaders nationwide on UAVs and precision agriculture. So the business development center that we have is going to be a business associate's degree. It's going to be an associate's degree in business, focus on agricultural management, and then a number of certifications that specialize people in this endeavor.
Well, final thoughts. What would you want viewers to know about the Jersey Protein Initiative?
That this is the future and that this is sustainable, and that we all saw what happened with COVID, where we almost starved. A lot of people don't realize this, but we almost had a famine because of COVID. A disruption event in a state, in an area of 13 million people, where we lose the ability to truck food from 78 to 80 and across those bridges. We're talking about a famine level catastrophe. And then also is we want to control the quality. People from New Jersey, we like to control our lives. We like to be,
yes, we do.
We're a type A people. Let's control our food. Let's have the industry that we love so much. Let's be the Garden State, and let's actually care about our people here in our agricultural community. Let's preserve the farmer and not just the farmland. We're all about preserving the land, but the land isn't going to be any good without a farmer. So let's start helping the farmers for real this time.
Well, Joe, thank you so much for coming on the show, for talking about the Jersey Protein Initiative. As we continue our Made in America series, we hope to have you back on again, and maybe we can visit you on site at Warren County Community College.
I would love that. I'd love to give you a tour of some of our showcase ranches and our operations there at the business at the Business Center, Continuing Education in Phillipsburg. And thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Of course, we're definitely going to take you up on that.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks so much. Coming up next on Energy Matters, TechUnited New Jersey's MJ Durkin joins us to explain how AI can boost small businesses and jobs without sending utility bills soaring or derailing the state's clean energy goals. I'm here with MJ Durkin, COO for TechUnited New Jersey. MJ, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, Jeanette, for having me.
Yeah, no problem. So the mission for TechUnited New Jersey is empowering innovators, disruptors, and entrepreneurs across New Jersey. Well, AI, artificial intelligence, is widely recognized as the single biggest economic and technological disruptors in the world today. So that's why I wanted to have you on the show to talk about that. TechUnited New Jersey argues that AI will create far more opportunities than it actually displaces. So what does that opportunity look like specifically for New Jersey? And what does New Jersey risk if it fails to embrace AI growth?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of questions in there. So I'll start off with what is the opportunity, and maybe even take a step back of why did I write the op-ed, and why are we arguing that AI will create more opportunity than it displaces even to begin with. In my role as COO at TechUnited, I get the opportunity to work with folks across the entire tech ecosystem, which we define broadly to not just include who we all think of tech companies, but also to include tech-enabled companies who are just using tech in some way.
Right.
And so in that work, I get to work with everybody from a first-time founder just with an idea, all the way through to the largest companies whose name we all know and recognize, and everybody in between, from venture capital firms, policymakers, community members, and tons more I'm not going to mention. And we talk about AI all the time.
I'm sure.
We have nuanced conversations, and I often see the positives of what AI can do for individuals, for communities, for organizations. And then I step back out of my role and I'm with my community, and I see so much fear and anxiety about what AI will do to our economy, to our environment. Mm-hmm. And in particular in New Jersey, that debate has been quite hot and heated with data centers. And don't get me wrong, data centers are a huge part of AI and the conversation that we need to be having. Look at the scale alone. This year, there are 4 companies that are spending $670 billion just on AI infrastructure this year.
Wow.
That's more than 2% of our national GDP. The best comparison I can find is if you go all the way back to 1850, the 1850s as a decade, the US spent about 2% of our GDP on building out the entire railroad infrastructure. And
that's incredible.
There's really no innovation at scale that can compare. So the data centers in this scenario are the railroads and the tracks. But what we're missing is, what about the trains? So for the AI debate and for the data center debate, we're spending a ton of energy and time focusing just on the data centers, just on the railroads, without thinking about how do we design the trains? How do we know how to ride the trains? How do we manage the trains? And that's what I want to bring light to.
Yeah. So, data centers are, it's all anyone talks about right now. It's such a political football, and people think, well, we can't have data centers, right? It's, it's almost like it's not even a partisan issue at this point, because people are concerned about the environment, the amount of electricity. What is the answer to that? Because, look, everybody's on their phones, they're using AI, they want it, and, immediately they want ChatGPT, but yet they're concerned about electricity. So what is the answer to that? How would you answer that question?
I think, first of all, we're heading in the right direction as a state with the Fair Share Act and a few other pieces of legislation on the table to make sure that companies are held accountable for what they are using. I would also say that data centers have been in New Jersey for a long time. We have 80 data centers, and in municipalities like Piscataway and Totowa, they're actually well liked in the community. They've been there for decades. They use those data centers and tax the commercial property and use that revenue in those municipalities to fund things like schools. And they're quiet, they result in less traffic, they have higher security around those areas. And so I would say let's look to those examples as well. Data centers are not right for every municipality, and that's not our decision or my decision to make. It's up to the municipality, similar to we don't have train stations in every single municipality across the state or across the country. But I would say it's up to the municipality. We're heading in the right direction. And like I said, data centers have been here for a long time, and there are positives that they can provide to communities.
What is the biggest misconception that you think surrounds data centers in New Jersey and throughout the country?
Yeah, I mean, I think there are a lot, and part of what we're doing at TechUnited is taking a step in the right direction to actually answer some of those questions, because right now they're kind of unanswerable in terms of questions like how much water does a data center use in general, but also in my community? How much energy does a data center use in general, but also the one that's right down the street from me? How many jobs are created by data centers? In the short term and the long term. And so part of what we're doing is working with a Princeton PhD to publish our own report for New Jersey specifically on the impact of AI infrastructure on the environment and the economy, so that we can have definitive answers to equip our policymakers and the general public with.
That's great. So another question, New Jersey has ambitious clean energy goals, but people think that AI could dramatically increase the demand for reliable around-the-clock power. Does growth of AI cause the state to rethink its energy strategy, including the role of nuclear and gas?
I think it already has helped the state rethink its clean energy strategy. Nuclear has come back on the table for the first time in 30 years, I think, which I think is great news. I would say also, though, AI and data centers are often the easy thing to blame when we're having the broader energy conversation. And don't get me wrong, AI is part of the conversation around the high energy costs in our state. My energy bill went up as well, and I believe there is data to support that that's about 15 to 20% of the cause is from data center and the infrastructure that has been built in the past few years. But I would argue it's blaming only data centers is a bit like telling millennials that we can't afford homes because we spend money on avocado toast and lattes. We have to look at the bigger picture and solve the root cause of the problem, which goes back to New Jersey as a net importer of energy. And so, yes, we need to figure out long-term what that strategy looks like. And yes, AI is a part of that, but it's not the only thing.
Right, supply is a huge issue. One of the biggest concerns surrounding AI is job displacement, but you actually argue that AI can expand economic opportunity. Which industries and workers in New Jersey stand to benefit the most from AI?
Yeah, I mean, I think AI is such a transformative technology. It will likely impact every aspect of our economy over the next several decades in hopefully all positive ways, although being realistic, it's not always going to be positive. I see a huge opportunity right now for small businesses, which make up the backbone of New Jersey's economy and the United States economy at large. In New Jersey, it's about 99% of businesses are small businesses, which employ about 50% of our workforce. And when you look at a technology like AI, it is a technology about leverage. And when I say that, I mean it allows you to do more with less. So less input, more output. And that's great for large companies, but it's incredible for small companies. You can do more with less, which means you can grow your business with the same team and be more profitable. You can grow your business and hire more people, which is something that we're doing at TechUnited. We're doubling our team this year.
That's fantastic.
Which is incredible. Or you can do more and spend more time with your family on your hobbies, on things, or on aspects of your business that you can't currently spend time on, like working with your customers, working with your team. The real reasons that people get into small business ownership in the first place. AI is great at taking over what we call codified knowledge, meaning which for most people means like the administrative burden that is not why we do our jobs to begin with, but we have to in order to get the work done. That's what AI can take over and allows you to focus on the things that you want to do and that only you uniquely can do, like build relationships, use your judgment, build trust, and we call that tacit knowledge. And so if you're able to complement those two things, you can really harness AI in a way that gives you agency and power to do the things I just mentioned, grow your business, focus on your customers.
And what are you hearing in the field of healthcare and research and development? I was just listening to the news today, and I heard someone say that researchers believe that future cures for possibly cancer could come through AI.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is all on the table and already happening. I spent a long time early in my career at Google, and they have Google DeepMind, which is pushing the edge of the envelope in breakthrough technologies. They're now able to do protein folding and things that folks would have never even dreamed of even just 10 years ago.
Wow.
And that all is incredible, but I think what we can even do better is think about, like, how can I start using AI today, now, to help my life and my business? And that is all on the table and accessible to everybody across the state right now.
I feel like AI has a little bit of a PR problem. And you're doing great work at TechUnited New Jersey to help combat that. But what other things can the technology industry be doing to help combat some of these misconceptions around AI?
Yeah, I mean, I think addressing the misconceptions head on is the right move. And I think it's not all unicorns and rainbows when you look at what AI has done for the economy. We still are figuring out what the long-term impacts will be, and that's part of why we're working on a report just for New Jersey. But Stanford actually released a report last month on the economic impact since ChatGPT was released, which is the first large language model accessible to most people. So they looked at jobs from November 2022 up through 2026, and it's not just projections or surveys. They were looking at actual ADP payroll data. So it's pretty hard look at how are jobs being impacted by AI. On the whole, they saw that there was either stagnant or growth for most AI exposed roles, but where there has been job loss has been in early career folks. So folks who are in AI exposed roles, age 22 to 25, they're actually well below where they should be today. And this is all correlation, not causation. But we can look at the trends.
Right.
And the employer behavior is, if you look deeper, is not that they're laying those roles off. They are just not hiring for those roles. And what I see there is a bit short-sighted, because you look at the larger economy, and most organizations, including the World Economic Forum, are projecting overall job creation from AI. So 78 million net new jobs will be created between now and 2030, according to the World Economic Forum.
Wow.
If you're not hiring for the folks early in their career, you're going to have a massive gap when those jobs become open. And so I look to employers, and especially tech employers, and I look to folks like Salesforce, who have looked at that and said that's actually a competitive advantage, and we're going to double down on our early career hiring and hire 1,000 jobs at that stage, which we wouldn't have otherwise. Those are the types of things that I think everyone else across our industry should be doing to be able to not just think about the short term, but think about the long term of how are you upskilling your current workers, how are you training the next generation, and how are you putting really clear policies in place so that people don't operate in fear at their job, that they operate in a position of power to understand that they're using AI in appropriate ways that their employer will not hold against them.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about New Jersey. If our state wants to become a leader in AI rather than watching investment and jobs move to other states, what are a couple policy decisions that state leaders should be making right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think there are a couple on the table at the federal and state level. But the state one, Senator Zwicker, has proposed an incentive for employers to retrain instead of replace employees, which I think, again, going back to what we were talking about earlier, is a great approach that will allow folks in New Jersey to continue to participate in the workforce, in the economy, and grow their own skills, allow employers to do the same, and it incentivizes the right behaviors rather than just laying off or thinking short-sighted. It allows us to really upskill our population.
Well, there's so much to talk about when it comes to AI. I mean, I think we could probably talk another 20 minutes, but I think we're going to leave it here, and we'd love to have you back on the show again, because
Anytime.
This is such a great topic.
Yeah,
Thanks so
This
much.
has been a pleasure. Thank you so much, Jeanette.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah.
That does it for today. I'm Jeanette Hoffman. Thanks for watching.